You know, I'm going to date myself a little bit, but over 20 years ago, I was doing work with Nike, and one of their key executives said, "We've got a philosophy at Nike. I don't know if they still do, but he said, we hire for the right corporate athlete, the person that maybe doesn't have the exact role, or they were in this part of the organization, but they were a rock star and they want to move over here, right? Or we move them over there to get different roles and experiences, but we look for the people that can adapt. The ones that you talked about at the beginning that are really engaged in the business. They're smart people and you put them in the right roles. And now with AI, anything you don't know how to do, you just go, how the hell did I do this? Right. And so it's really the people that are rising that are shining are the ones that maybe don't have prompt engineering as a background. But if they want to get into prompt engineering, if they're dedicated to it, they've got a PhD tutor, consultant in the AI tool itself to help them do whatever they want to do. So it's more along the lines of, are they a self starter? Are they engaged? Are they smart? Are they going to put two and two together and just make it happen? Right. That's an intangible, but AI is giving the tool to any of us. I'll put you and I in that category, right? Why not? It's my podcast. That if you have that kind of engagement, you can do tremendous things, right? So, are you asking different questions now of candidates in order to try to green for some of those intangibles? Or, like, how do you even think about that with your audience here being your peers, right? And CROs and CEOs that know they have to hire right to be successful. That's how important it is.
Yeah, no, I love that anecdote about Nike and the corporate athlete. I couldn't agree with you more. Adaptability is and curiosity, right? Like those are all, think about HubSpot and some of the tenets of the hires. Curiosity is one of the characteristics that is most leads to success within an organization. But Steve, to go back to what you're saying, I think, and what I'm seeing, it being kind of in this space is testing, like outside of the resume and outside of the interview, there's a lot of testing that's emerging, especially when you're thinking about human capital as a global marketplace now, right? And so, because when you're looking at resumes from different countries, which you kind of have to do because you're not going to find, like I said, 100 prompt engineers in, your locale anymore. You kind of have to look at these other areas. And then you're not going to recognize like any of the schools. You're not going to know, oh, this company is, for example, out of India or out of Mexico. And I don't know that company. It's not like, something that's in your backyard, like Sherwin-Williams, or that you would know KeyBank or Bank of America. So I'm seeing a lot of tools that are emerging, to hire people offshore and to facilitate, communicate, all of those things. For some of the fastest growing companies, DL, remote, EOR companies. But over and above that, a lot of solutions around testing. And there's all kinds of testing, right? There's behavioral testing that's emerging. There's aptitude testing. We administer a lot of testing on every candidate. Now, that squeezes your candidate pool down considerably because people are used to just sending in their resumes and then waiting by the phone for someone to call. And so by then throwing in the wrinkle of, hey, we want you to do this assessment, or we want you, first of all, lots of people don't do that, don't want to do it. And then only a small percentage actually pass. Or, and if you're giving 3 or 4 of these and you're really unearthing, then you're really dwindling that number down. But I do believe that from what I'm seeing, there's a lot of testing that's emerging and solutions around testing. And a lot of the HR platforms are incorporating testing in. And like I said, that's, it falls into a multitude of different categories. And some are like, how well will they fit into our corporate culture? Sometimes you want someone that does fit. Sometimes you want someone that doesn't fit. That's counter. That's going to push the envelope, which is interesting because we see some of our clients say to us, like, we don't want someone that is, like-minded to the rest of we want someone that's off thinking of things a little differently. So yeah, I do think that one of the ways is you're going to have a lot more assessments, a lot more of those kinds of testing solutions emerge to, really understand who you're hiring and what their personality The challenge becomes, again, with AI, now we have a lot of testing, but we're noticing that a lot of our candidates, because we hire, a lot bulk, we are hiring hundreds of people a month, they're gaming the testing with AI. And now we have to like, we are one step ahead of them. Now there's tools that will track their eyes. Are they moving off the screen? Are they looking at something else, and try to understand if they're using AI to beat the AI test that we generated? So again, yeah, they escape that.
And by the way, the fact that they're using AI to game it, they're going to probably use AI on the job too. And, I mean, so
Interesting you say that. Yeah. So we have a debate internally with our executive team, because I like to believe then if they're using AI that well to game our tests, then maybe we should be okay with that. Maybe that is a quality that we want, because they will come in and they'll use AI to flank them. And, that's what we want too, right? So, we're still thinking through that, how we feel about that. But yeah, I overall think that should be okay too. And eventually, it will be about how proficient you are using AI. And maybe that is the quality that we should be hiring for, rather than, the base aptitude, right? Like ingenuity around using AI deeply integrated with what we want also. So, yeah.